Rita. How are we?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. More importantly, how have you been?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it had the wife and I had a bit of a bout of it. Not quite sure what it was. It wasn't COVID, that much we do know, but we're coming out the other side of it, which is a good thing. We're on the 4th or 5th week now, and it is still there, but it's going, which is a plus. But there we are. So yes, that's the people have been starved of your dulcet tones across the weeks, and that's what it is. And they just can't wait to get more of you.
Absolutely.
That's
Well,
what
look,
that's what I've
lovely
written
to be
down
back.
here. It's good to be back. All right. So listen, so how's the world of fitness and health coaching and all that kind of stuff? Recovered from your jaunt abroad, that kind of all that stuff.
Absolutely. It's great this end, and coming into summer is probably one of my favorite times of year because we all get to be outside more, we all get more sunshine, everyone's mood improves in general. So it's been great trying not to go abroad again if I can help it for a little
Trying,
while.
trying not to.
Trying,
Well,
genuinely trying.
you've held yourself back, have you?
I have, yes. So
Oh.
I have a few trips to see clients in the States at the end of the year, but other than that, just enjoying my time with the kids at home.
Yeah, I think what you've done is you've actually planted clients abroad, and that you planted them abroad so that you can get on a plane and go over to the sunshine where they are, and make out that it's a working holiday. I think that's what it is.
Absolutely. I mean, if someone says to me, where would you like to visit, California or Skegness? I mean, I love Skegness, by the way, nothing wrong with it, but I think we'd all, enjoy a little jaunt to LA or somewhere
Yeah,
like that.
I see
But
it.
yeah.
Quite relevant too. I'm with you there, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so what are we talking about today? How would you like to guide people?
So, what I want to talk about today, because it's National Runners Day, is the kind of exercises that we want to be doing when we sort of hit 40, 50 plus, that kind of next stage of the journey. Because a lot of people, women and men, see their bodies shifting when they get to this kind of 40, 50 plus stage and continue to try and do things that they did in their 20s. This is what I
Right.
hear a lot is, well, it worked for me in my 20s. Why does it not work now? And it's because obviously our bodies change in multiple ways, but significantly, it's due to our decreased muscle mass and metabolism. So, have you ever found yourself saying, as a sort of someone who's in their 20s and 30s, 40s, 50s, time seems to go quicker as you age? Have you noticed that? So for a
Well,
kid,
yeah, I have seen
yeah.
people say certain things, and also, time stands still for no one, and
Mm.
it does. It seems to accelerate, and I thought it would slow down, but no, it does seem to go faster for and inexplicably as well.
So it isn't inexplicable. There is a reason. So as a child, your metabolism is working at top notch. So you could eat, 3,000 calories as a kid and burn it all off because your metabolism is going overdrive. As you age, your metabolism every year slows down a little bit each year. The slower your metabolism, the faster time feels,
Ah,
because your metabolism is what determines how you perceive time. So a fly, for instance, a fly who lives for about 60 days, who's got the most ridiculously quick metabolism, although they're only alive for 60 days, that time for them is stretched over a huge period in terms of perception, because time or perception of time is linked to metabolism, if that makes sense. So there are
yeah,
creatures who live for hundreds of years on the bottom of the ocean, and time goes by in an instant for them because their metabolism is so slow. So this is why they are able to live for so long, but equally why it feels like it goes by in a flash. Anyway, the point of me saying that is this gives us an indication that scientifically, obviously, our metabolism is changing. We can see in multiple ways. And because of that, we need to do everything in our power to get our metabolism back up, to speed it back up, because this is really important for health. Metabolism is really closely linked to the balance of muscle to body fat in our bodies. And what most people do is they sort of hit 40, 50, and For women, we call it sort of the pooch. For men, you might call it the dad bod or the beer belly, whatever it might be. We start to see changes in our body across the board. And what we start to do is, well, I used to run a lot. I used to run, I used to cycle. So let me do all of those things again. And although they're great for fitness and great for heart and lung health, we don't see shifts in our body. And we go, well, it used to work. Why doesn't it work now? And it's because something like running or cardio doesn't have a particular impact on muscle mass. So what we need to be doing is the kind of exercise that really increases our muscle density and our muscle size within our body, because then our metabolism goes up, our calorie burning goes up, our overall health goes up, our bone density goes up. So one of the things that I would say is, if you're not doing any sort of resistance training, or other words for that might be weight training, strength training, everyone sort of calls it different, you need to start introducing that around 3 times a week when you hit sort of 40 plus. And this is across the board, women and men. And you want to be doing about 30 minutes 3 times a week, and then build it up to maybe sort of 3 lots of an hour. So start with that sort of shorter burst and build it. But it's really, really key in terms of health. And I'm not seeing enough people doing it when they hit this sort of stage of life.
Okay, so it's the stage of life. I mean, a lot of people have said that more women, they say, oh, I'm going to be 30 soon. And they look at the world in a whole, oh, I don't want to be 30, as if you can stop it. And then, no, I don't want to be 40 either. Well, it is what it is. And you're not going to stop that. And is that a mindset that they think that 40 is old? Because these days it isn't, is it?
So there's 2 different views of the age of 40, the age of 50, the age of 30. One is this mental social perception, and one is just a fact that your body changes. They're 2 different things. So what I'm talking about is the physiological changes that happen for men and women when they sort of hit 40, 45, 50. That doesn't mean you're old. Hopefully everyone's noticed that I haven't said, that's old or in any description. It's just a particular stage, in the sense that I would say a teenager is a different stage to being in your 20s, different stage to 30s, different stage to 40s, 50s, and so on. And physiologically, our body changes because if you think about our longevity of life now, we're living to 80, 90, 100. That has only been happening for maybe 100 years. Think about 200 years ago, people did not live like that long. You
No.
got to 50 and 200 years ago, that was old.
Yeah.
60 was like remarkable. And as human beings in our sort of format, we've been around for thousands of years. So in terms of evolution, our ability to get to 60, 70, 80, 90 is a very, very recent development.
Yeah.
And our bodies haven't caught up with that. And because of that, we sort of hit 40, 50, and our body is essentially starting to prepare us for the idea that we're not going to be around. So of course, metabolism slows because our body wants to hold on to body fat. A couple thousand years ago, if you were 40, 45, we need to hold on to body fat because there's no water, there's no food, there's, life is harsh, there's no supermarkets.
Yeah.
So we would store body fat on our stomach around the vital organs, because that's where you don't have vital organs in your arms. It's all around that middle area.
Right.
And so we'd store body fat and decrease muscle mass because it was survival. And our body's still doing that, even though now we're living much longer and we have takeaways and supermarkets on tap. So what I'm talking about is a physiological understanding that our body changes because in terms of evolution, it hasn't caught up. What you're talking about is people's social perception that, oh my goodness, I hit another 0 number and I'm old, which is absolute rubbish. I think women and men get better as they age.
You were going to say something else there.
Always going to believe I'm always going to espouse the fact that I think as people age, they have more social acuity, more wisdom, more experience, and that makes them more beautiful human beings. But that is a social perception. We just can't get away from the fact that there is a genuine physical change and we got to work with it.
Okay, all right. So for you, just before we move on, just to clear this up, for you, obviously, as a health and fitness coach, you guide people in all areas that suit them because, as you say, people are different. So for you as an individual, you said you enjoy running and you enjoy the cardio, but you combine that for you with weight training and all the rest of it. So how have you found that balance that suits you, and how did you do that briefly?
So I have found the balance that suits me, but my balance is going to be completely different to somebody else's balance.
Fair enough.
I found it honestly through genuine trial and error. And what most people do is that they try something for a week and then they go, well, that doesn't work, I'll give up. And the approach that I take to my own health and fitness, finding balance, finding what works for me, is if I think about my kids, they tried probably hundreds of thousands of times to walk before they succeeded in walking. They fell over a lot. They tried to hold things. They pulled themselves up. They fell down. After a week of them trying and falling over, I didn't say, right, Charlie, stop. You can't do this. You're clearly rubbish at walking. Just don't bother. And actually, if you look across the globe, 99.9% of people are able to walk because their parents allowed them to keep trying until it clicked. And that's the exact same approach for health and fitness.
Now, I was just briefly, I was just listening to a little clip that I saw. Piers Morgan, love him, hate him, whatever. What he said was, the point being was, he was saying that this day and age, you get a medal or a reward for doing anything. If you turn up, you get a taking part medal. Or if you come 29th in the race, you get he said, but that's no good because you get rewarded for doing nothing and no achievement. However, he said he'd learned more from failure than he did from success. And I think that's quite poignant in what you're saying, because when it goes wrong, you don't want to do it. So you try and then keep going. So I think that's probably the way forward. Rita, it's been wonderful. How do people get in touch with you, please? Even if they are from Los Angeles or California or wherever they happen to be, how can they get in touch?
So you can either head to our website, which is thehealthandfitnesscoach.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, which is Rita Trotter, on Facebook, Rita Trotter, or on Instagram, which is the Health and Fitness Coach with a dot between each word.
Yes.
But those are the best ways to find me: social media or website, thehealthandfitnesscoach.com. And more than happy to have a chat with anyone who wants to learn a bit more.
Well, fantastic, Rita. Thank you very much. We'll speak to you next week. Enjoy that. You can go back to the weights and the running now, although I wouldn't suggest doing them both at the same time, to be honest.
Good tip.
Yeah.
I'll bear it in mind.
All right, Rita, thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon. Ta-da.
Bye.